Counselor David A. Ulibarri Jr.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have a quorum.
Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Counselor Ulibarri, would you please read the moment of silence?
Moment I silence for the bad accident that happened in Romovili. We were out there from 6 to 4 in the morning. There was some deaths, people that got hurt. Just share some time and pray for all the victims that were hurt and for the victims that passed away in that accident. Thank you.
I would also like to add that I want to commend our staff from the City of Las Vegas, our Public Works Director and her staff, Veronica Gentry, for being out there in that type of weather. I want to commend our fire department, our Chief Billy Montoya, and all our first responders, and also our interim chief, Chris Lopez, who had everybody out there, and we're working very closely with the State Police Department and all first responders out there to divert traffic. Also, in addition to that, I have to thank Chris and Pamela Sandoval for actually finding a place for the individuals who were stranded here, about 15 of them, who were in the emergency room and didn't have any rooms to stay, and the hotels actually helped us locally. So thank you to the hotels and the lodgers and everybody here. Thank you very much. That was a difficult situation. Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, Madam Mayor, members of the council, is the approval of the agenda.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Mayor,
Councilor Casey.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, excuse me. On presentations, Mr. David Old has canceled. He will
Okay.
reschedule with us.
Okay, could you restate your motion and remove the item?
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the agenda as amended.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
Counselor Ulibarri Jr.?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Romero and Counselor Ulibarri Jr. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion
Thank you
carries.
very much.
Next item on the agenda, Madam Mayor, members of the council, are the approval of the minutes of December the 20th, December 28th, and December 31st of 2017.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Mayor,
Councilor Casey.
I move approval of the minutes, and I did send in minor corrections to minutes
Okay.
for December 20th, December 28th, and December 31st.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Counselor Ulibarri Jr.?
Yes.
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Romero. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, Madam Mayor, members of the council, are mayor's appointments and reports.
I don't have an appointment at this point in time. The report pretty much I stated and tied into the actual moment of silence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the next item is mayor's recognitions and proclamations.
I do have 2 recognitions at this point in time, and I would like to call forward the 2 individuals who this is going to recognize today. I don't have, they should have been on here, but it wasn't on the actual agenda. So, do you have the names?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
CJ Perea and Tony Rubin Jr.?
CJ Perea and Tony Rubin.
Yes.
Okay, in the future, make sure that you include any recognitions on the actual agenda. That is the process. Okay, thank you very much. Could we have them come forward? Cassandra, could you please read this?
Absolutely.
recognitions?
The first one we have is recognition for athletic achievement, whereas CJ Perea is a member of the 9 and 10 Division champion Las Vegas Outlaws, who led the team to an undefeated 13-0 for the New Mexico AYF State Championship. And whereas CJ was selected by the New Mexico AYF League as most valuable player for the 4th straight year and 55 touchdowns this season, CJ was selected to the New Mexico AYF All-Conference Team and All-Star Team. And whereas CJ was selected quarterback MVP, and All-American for the third straight time at the Offense-Defense All-American Football Camp in Denver, Colorado. CJ was selected to the O&D Bowl in New Orleans and earned the starting position for the third straight year. And whereas this year has been a successful season with many new accomplishments, and we are proud of the record the Outlaws have earned and the publicity that has been brought to our area by their achievements, and now therefore be it resolved by I, Mayor Tonita Gurulay Giron, Mayor of the City of Las Vegas, along with members of the governing body, hereby recognize CJ Perea for his dedication to the sport of football and for representing Las Vegas and the state of New Mexico.
Congratulations. Could I have Carlos please come up, the parent who's been very involved with the children? You do so much for them, Carlos. Sometimes as parents, you're not recognized for all the volunteer work that you do and all the mentoring, all the coaching. I want to commend you for your years of service to these children and congratulate you on the enormous accomplishments of the children. Thank you, Carlos, as well. And at this point in time, I would also, could be two, could CJ and Tony be pleased to run? Let me have, who's CJ?
She has a proclamation for you.
Wait, she already read it, didn't she?
I read for CJ, now I'll read for
It's the
Tony
same thing,
Rubin.
isn't it? Okay. Okay, well, go ahead, you have your recognition. She was supposed to include them both together.
Whereas Tony Rubin Jr. is a member of the 9-10 Division champion Las Vegas Outlaws who helped anchor the offense line to an undefeated 13-0 for the New Mexico AYF State Championship. And whereas Tony was selected to the New Mexico AYF All-Star Team, and whereas Tony earned Offensive Line Most Valuable Player and 3-time All-American at the Offense-Defense All-American Football Camp in Denver, Colorado, Tony was selected to the O&D Bowl in New Orleans and earned a starting offense lineman spot for the third straight year. And whereas this year has been a successful season with many new accomplishments, we are proud of the record of the Outlaws have earned and the publicity that has been brought to our area by their achievements. And now therefore be it resolved, Mayor Tonita Gurulay Giron, Mayor of the City of Las Vegas, along with members of the governing body, hereby recognize Tony Rubin Jr. for his dedication to the sport of football and for representing Las Vegas and the state of New Mexico.
Thank you very much.
Carlos Franco.
Would you take someone a photo? Yes, there we go. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Congratulations. The next item on the agenda, Madam Mayor, members of the council, is public input. The first person is Georgina Ortega.
And before we start the public input, I want to come on forward, Ms. Ortega. I want to thank everybody for being here today. This is a great crowd, so thank you for being here. Ms. Ortega.
I'll make it brief. I'm here to support your initiative here for the immigrants, recognizing to give them a safe place to live, because we were all immigrants at one time.
It's a
Our
refugee
ancestors-
resettlement.
Our ancestors were not just one race. We come from many parts of the world. And a lot of you can trace your ancestry, not just to the United States of America, South America, North America, Europe, Germany, all of the continents in the world. So I really feel proud to be part of Las Vegas, to live here in New Mexico, and to know that my city council members feel the same way I do about people coming to live in our country, in our city, wanting to be members of this community. And I've worked with many of them, all over, here in California, here in New Mexico, and I'm just very proud that you guys are doing the right thing. And I want to welcome whoever is coming to our city and want to be part of our community. And I welcome them with open arms, because I felt very welcomed coming from California here back in 1997 when I moved here. Open arms. And I want other people to feel the same. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ortega.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega. The next public input person is Mr. Miguel Angel.
Good evening, Mr. Angel.
Good evening,
Good evening.
ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miguel Angel. I'm the director of Casa de Cultura. I've been involved with many issues with Latin Americans. I have traveled all over Central America. I'm here to speak in favor of the resolution for refugee immigrant rights, and by implication, all the DACA recipients, and by indirect but nonetheless important support of Mexican, Latin American, and Central American refugees. So I'd like to make a statement of who I am. I am a Chicano, a great-grandson of Clemente Angel and Cosme Damian Flores, all of who were Mexicans before Mexico was invaded by the United States, and both from Chihuahua, Mexico. Had three great-grandparents that were from Chihuahua, and two great-great-grandparents that were here in the late 1700s and early 1800s from northern Mexico. So I consider myself a Mexican, and my great-grandparents came here, learned English very quickly, became involved in local civic organizations, and were business people and spoke English quickly, and were productive members of society right from the beginning. And I think that most people, especially like those the DACA recipients, will demonstrate that. I think just to add a couple of historical points to what I'm saying, the U.S. has used and abused Mexico from the time it was invaded in 1846, and in the process of capturing Mexico City, at least 250,000 civilians were killed, and the United States took over 1/2 of the entire Mexican nation by force, making it the largest land theft, second only to the theft of American lands in the world in the last 500 years. And in the words of David Henry Thoreau, an American poet, who said, Pobre México, tan lejos de Dios y tan cerca a los Estados Unidos. Poor Mexico, so far from God and so close to the United States. Mexico and Mexican citizens and Chicanos have been at the brunt of American racism ever since. From the earliest days, the Mexicans have been kept at the margin of society and have had their labor exploited and their human rights violated consistently. During the 1930s, the United States, under Franklin Roosevelt, deported close to 2 million Mexicans back to Mexico under the repatriation program. About 60 of them were U.S. citizens that were deported. The first major deportation. Pardon me?
Continue? No, continue.
Can I have a couple of
Absolutely,
minutes?
continue.
Every administration since that has continued to demonstrate the deportations, with Obama deporting 2.4 million Mexicans, more than any other president, and Central Americans, and has built 28 detention centers on the border as prisons, family prisons, where whole families are being held as we speak today. The U.S. has created havoc on the Mexican economy with the exploitation of the maquila workers, companies that have left the United States, gone over there for cheap labor, and have exploited them so badly that the maquila people can't earn a living. So the only step left for them is to cross the border. The Mexican government itself must pay 50% of its national income, its entire national income, just to pay the interest on the trade debt to the United States. That means that they have no money left for social and economic development over there. The enormous poverty that most Mexicans have had to live under has been the underlying reason for the cartels, drug cartels in the country, who produce and sell drugs to the best client, the United States. So poverty is the critical cause of immigration to the United States, and they have no choice, and Central Americans and Latin Americans, but to leave. And adding to the crisis of unemployment and underemployment in the United States, U.S. administrations have pitted poor Mexicans against poor U.S. citizens. I was here for the first time when they presented the resolution the first time, and I had Chicanos come forward over here, and I was highly surprised that they spoke against Mexican immigrants. I said, this can't be happening. These are our people. Why are they here? Amazingly, in today's world, the U.S. government has criminalized the crossing of the border. It's a crime to cross the border to try and survive. They are asking, the crossing of the border, and they are asking communities to assist them in apprehending undocumented Mexicans. I do not think that we want our city and our county to assist racist politicians to enforce a thoroughly racist practice in this country. And I support the DACA students who, in order to become recipients, must be students, they must be working, or they must be in the military service. I think they're the ideal immigrant that we want to have in this country. So I support DACA, and I support your refugee ordinance for the ordinance in support of refugee resettlement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next person for public input is Mr. Bob Pearson, Refugee Resolution.
Madam Mayor, before I start, I have a request. I need to read some material, and because of my failing vision, I can't read as quickly as I can speak, so I wonder if I might have about an extra minute.
Absolutely. His duty as the Sergeant of Arms is to notify the council of the 3-minute time limit, but we have always worked with everyone who comes up here and allow them to speak. So just
Thank you.
thank you.
Last week, there were 7 people who spoke in favor of the resolution. Two people spoke against the resolution. What their opposition was based on mainly was the idea that it would be wrong for members of the council to deal with any matter which did not directly affect Las Vegas. Of the 7 who spoke in favor of the resolution, 5 of them are longtime members of the community. And I'd like to read a list of some of their accomplishments in Las Vegas. One person founded the Crop Walk in Las Vegas, which raises money for hunger worldwide, with 25% of it remaining in Las Vegas. 3 people are past and current members of the Samaritan House Board of Directors. 3 of the 5 have volunteered for overnight supervision of the Samaritan House shelter. 3 have been were original members of the Citizens Advisory Committee of the San Miguel County Detention Center. 3 were authors, including the project coordinator for the health impact assessment of the proposed Northeast New Mexico Adult Reintegration Center, gathering data from the county and other locations about addiction, violence, and recidivism. The recommendations of that group were accepted by the county council and now form the basis for the reintegration program that is now in operation at the county detention center. One person was the founder and director of the Las Vegas Peace and Justice Center. Another was the founder and first program manager of Firstborn of northeastern New Mexico, working with first-time mothers to increase their health and well-being. 3 of them were members, including the president of the board and acting director of HOPE, providing services for the elderly in Las Vegas. Another is the chair of the board of the Comedor de San Pascual, serving hot meals and distributing food to Las Vegas. 2 are member leaders of Amnesty International USA, working for human rights at all levels. In Las Vegas, they work with other organizations for the right of workers at Alta Vista to unionize and to bring back the OBGYN units. That's just for 5 people. If you interviewed others who were there and others who are here tonight, I think you would have a much, much longer list. The purpose of my saying, of giving you this information, is to show you that supporters of the resolution take very seriously the problems that Las Vegas faces and have spent many decades working to improve the situation in Las Vegas. The refugee crisis worldwide is a great human rights crisis. To remain silent in the face of this is to leave the field to those who would ignore or even violate human rights. Please do not be constrained by geography and time to seek actions for the common good. There is always time to help others who are in need. Please join up the governing bodies of cities such as New York, Philadelphia, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Durham, North Carolina, and at least 9 other smaller communities in affirming their support for refugee resettlement in the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you. The next person on public input is Mr. Marshall Poole on Animal Welfare Report.
Madam Mayor and City Councilors, my name is Marshall Poole. I'm on the board of the Animal Welfare Coalition of Northeastern New Mexico, which has the city and county contracts to run the animal shelter next door. A few news items from the Animal Welfare Coalition. We've recently added several new members to our board. Troy Dennison, Roxanne Gonzalez, and Ann Bradford and Jennifer Carbajal. We've recently acquired through a grant a storage container, a rodent-proof storage container that can hold a lot of the donated food that we get. We get tons of donated food, so we can secure it there on the property. Now that it's 2018, we've analyzed all of our dog and cat intakes and adoptions and transports for 2017. We're happy to report that we've slightly increased our 91% live outcome rate. And as I've said before, if an animal comes into the shelter alive, it has a greater than 91% chance of finding an adopted home. The only exceptions to that are animals that are so injured that they can't be restored and live a humane life. The other exemption to that is animals that are so aggressive that they can't be socialized enough to be safely placed in an adopted home. Just a few figures from that report from last year. Our annual live release rate was 91.45%. Our total intake was 1,585 animals. That's a little lower than it has been over the past few years. It's usually about 2,000 a year. We've had 238 adoptions locally, and there were 243 animals that were returned to their owner or guardian during the year. Councilor Labrie mentioned this latest set of accidents here. There was actually one dog that was killed in one of those wrecks, and the dog's body was brought in to the shelter by one of the tow truck drivers. The County Office of Emergency Management knows that the AWC is available to set up a companion animal shelter if ever needed for anyone stranded or if there were an official incident declared here in the community. 3 of our staff and volunteers have been FEMA certified to be a part of any incident like that. We really urge citizens, first identify the dog or cat with a collar and a tag. Most of the animals that come in, we have no idea whose they are. Even better, we can at low cost embed a small microchip in the animal that can be read by any shelter or any veterinarian. Second, if you find an animal, call us. The ordinance requires that we be called within 24 hours or that the city animal control be notified within 24 hours. There may very well be a family that's reported a missing animal to us and is anxiously trying to find their animal. So keeping the animal or deciding, oh gee, we may keep it, is really not a responsible thing to do.
Done.
So,
Continue.
2 other things. One, our recent Art Park fundraiser netted more than $6,000. We have plans for next year to make it a bigger and even better event, so we're looking forward to that. And we thank all the businesses and community sponsors, especially the artists who donated their work for auction at the event. And lastly, 2 animal control officer positions are now open with the city, and we look forward to helping train them and looking forward to working with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole.
Madam Mayor, I beg your pardon, but there's one important thing that I forgot to do, and that was to ask those supporters of the resolution who are here to stand, because many came just for that purpose.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Could the supporters please stand? Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. We appreciate this. Thank you, Mr. Purcell.
The final person on our public input listing is Star Chavez on the refugee resolution as well.
City Councilman, Madam Mayor, thank you for listening to me. Might be the only fish swimming against the tide here, but I first would like to thank you guys for voting last year with your logic and reason, your compassion and common sense to not allow Las Vegas to be a refugee resettlement location. when you use your head and not just your emotions to think things through and to come up with a logical and compassionate conclusion, that is the best thing elected officials can do in the refugee situation or any situation. I know many want to resettle refugees in New Mexico, primarily in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and I do not support that position. I think it is uncompassionate to resettle people from different countries into a state riddled with many problems of its own. When you think of the state's unemployment rate or educational disaster and crime-ridden streets, you have to logically think, is it really compassionate to have refugees resettle here? Personally, I think the top 10 unemployment-rated states dealing with a dismal economy and crime on the rise should not even be candidates for housing and trying to employ and invest in resettlement for refugees. New Mexico is rated third in unemployment nationwide. Our economic growth is a dismal 1.1%. Albuquerque especially has seen crime on the rise with over 25 cars stolen daily and not nearly enough law enforcement to deal with it. We all know that they spend more per child in education than most successful states do, and yet we don't see the rate of success in return. Albuquerque is $5 billion in debt, and the mayor of Albuquerque wants to invest another $1.2 billion for refugees. How is that fiscally responsible? How is it compassionate to resettle people who might not be able to get a job, might not end up living in a bad neighborhood, and who will have to send their children to C and D rated schools? New Mexico doesn't have the resources to provide an adequate settlement for refugees when the cities in question are in so much debt. And to think it through with logic, compassion, reason, Las Vegas should be a beacon of truth to the situation and not stand behind this until we can get our own state on the right track with better education for our kids, a better economy for our own people, and safer neighborhoods, where we can then have the resources to accommodate people who are suffering from other countries and not have them just come here to suffer again in a different way. Bringing them here only because it's compassionate and will make us feel good and we could pat ourselves on the back for doing it without thinking it through for their benefit is not compassionate at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Chavez. That concludes our public input forum. Madam Mayor, members of the council, the next item on the agenda is the city manager's report, and under that report we have Ms. Renee Garcia and staff on presentation of holiday awards.
Good evening, ladies. Are we ready to begin?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. My name is Tiara Shorty. I am the events coordinator and film liaison. I'm here to acknowledge the winners of our 2017 holiday contest. We had the electric light parade, the home decoration contest, and the business decoration contest. Our plaques were made by old wood, and we have certificates that were created by our media coordinator, Virginia Linderville. I would like to extend my gratitude. I would like to extend my gratitude to the contest participants they all played a hand in making our holiday events a success. And I have about 9 awards to give out. And so I'm going to announce the names and ask that each individual come up to receive it. In our first category, the Business Decoration Contest, in third place, when not present, we will deliver it to them. In second place is Ulibarri Farms and Candy Shop. Our first place winner of the Business Decoration Contest is Plaza Antique.
Thank you.
In our second category, the Home Decoration Contest, third place is Mr. Leroy Lujan. In second place, Mr. Casey Ortega. And in first place of our home decoration contest, Mr. Billy Tafoya. Okay. Our last category is the electric light parade. In third place is Gabriel Serna Jr. Light parade is Highlands Wrecker. And lastly, we would like to present our 2017 Grand Marshal George Assey Sr. with an award in honor of his dedicated years of service as a firefighter.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of council, this concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies, very much, and thank you for doing such an outstanding job during the holiday season. I know how much work was involved, and you have all stepped it up. I am so grateful to each and every one of you, and for the citizens of outstanding job. Thank you. Thank you.
The next presentation is from Ms. Renee Garcia and staff regarding Las Vegas Night. Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Good evening, councilors and city manager. I'm here tonight to announce our grand event that is coming up on February 8th, 2018. It's a Thursday, and this is our annual event for Las Vegas Night at the legislature. It starts at 5:30 p.m. and it goes through till 9 p.m. Again, in Santa Fe at La Fonda Hotel. This grand event is an exclusive opportunity for the City of Las Vegas and our 3 entities that we collaborate with here in Las Vegas, San Miguel County, Luna Community College, and New Mexico Highlands University, to showcase and highlight progress as well as future plans for our growth, sustainability, and needs. It is an event that brings our city together and unifies ideas for our City of Las Vegas. It is a night complete with entertainment, food, and community representation. I want to especially thank my staff Virginia Marujo, Media Design and Marketing, and Tiara Shorty, who is our event planner, film liaison, for their active work in collaborating with our group to coordinate and plan this big event. It's a lot of hours that we put into it. And I think the biggest thing that I want to congratulate my staff for is their efforts in reducing the costs and keeping the costs at all-time low. So they've done an exceptional job, and I just want to thank you, ladies, both of you, for all the work that you've done with the Night at the Legislature event. I'd also like to bring recognition to, I'd like to talk about our entertainment venue. We have 3 local performers. Mariachi Cardenal will be performing under the direction of Martin Sena. Gabriel Tafoya, who is our 2017 Reina de las Fiestas, will also be performing. And the Smooth Riders, New Mexico Highlands University Jazz Group, will be providing music as well. All proceeds for this event were made possible by the generous donations by the following entities and our engineers that work with the city, our banks, our local banks, and some of our local businesses, which include Luna Community College, New Mexico Highlands University, San Miguel County, Southwest Capital Bank, Community First Bank, BTU, Hayes Plumbing, Sauter Miller, Molson Corbin, Oakham, Alta Vista Regional Hospital, and WH Pacific. In addition, Luna Community College Culinary Arts Program will be providing for and hosting a pastry coffee bar for the legislators on the morning of February 8th, 2018 at the Roundhouse. Charlie's Bakery and Cafe is supplying over 115 dozen of tortillas as a complimentary gift to the legislators. And Old Wood agreed to also make and donate small wooden souvenirs for the event that will highlight 2018 Las Vegas Night at the Legislature, and will also be giving these souvenirs to our legislators. Currently, we are in conversation with Senator Pete Campos, Assistant Chelsea, to have our mayor and possible council representation to read a proclamation during the morning of February 8th to proclaim it as Las Vegas Day at the Legislature. So this being a 30-day session, a short session, it was really hard to get space in the rotunda to set up tables and, share our showcases with our 3 other entities. So we're already working on next year to reserve that we do get our Day at the Roundhouse to showcase during the day as well as our night event. One of the other things that I'm very appreciative with my staff is they worked really hard in reducing the cost, but we were going to do in-house printing. And then through a lot of research, Virginia came up with an idea, because when we started calculating the cost of buying our toner for the printers and the paper and the envelopes, it was going to be a little extreme. So she started looking for bids and quotes from printing companies. And phenomenally, she came up with a great idea to do a mass production at a very reduced cost, something we had not even anticipated. So it's just a little over $300 to get probably, what would you say, how many invitations printed?
A little over 1,000.
A little over 1,000, because we're including all the businesses by our mayor's request to include all the businesses in town and inviting them to the event. So I want to extend this invitation not only to our administration, our council, mayor, police department, city attorneys, city manager, city staff, and workers. I'd like to extend the invitation to people in Las Vegas to come and see what we have to showcase on Las Vegas and what our plans are for future growth. And I also want to extend accolades to San Miguel County and Luna Community College and New Mexico Highlands University for working diligently in a concerted effort to bring this all together and make it happen. So it's a very positive event, and I appreciate your time this evening, and allowing us to bring this invitation publicly to you. And I look forward to seeing you there.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes,
first of all,
ma'am.
thank you very much. What is the theme of the event?
It's trailblazing through education and success.
That's right.
So it's focused around the kids, which we've also spoke with many of the schools who will be taking probably busloads of their students to the event as well. So they can have this networking opportunity to learn as well.
What I'd like to say is that that was an idea that pretty much I came up with. And I want to thank each and every one of you of making this happen and come to fruition. I think education, as you all know, is key. And it has been very important in my life, and I'm sure in the life of the council and the life of everyone who's out there. And I think that it's important that we continue to promote education. We continue to let the colleges, the universities, and all the entities involved know that we need to continue to keep our children in school, keep them educated. The city of Las Vegas has tremendous resources, and we have to capitalize on those resources. In addition to all that you're doing, which we're exceptionally grateful for, I believe that we're also going to be coming up with a scholarship.
We're looking into that. And the scholarship will be obtained in any excess of funding that is received. And let me just be really clear that the generous funding that we have received provides an opportunity for the businesses in Las Vegas, our engineering groups and our construction groups, the groups that we work with here at the city, that do so much of their own representation in Las Vegas, to have the opportunity to advertise. So they appreciate this as well. And we have special signage that is made that highlights the generous donations of our donors.
Well, I want you, Ms. Garcia, to commit to the scholarships. That's very important to me. You know how I feel.
Yes.
I will get you that funding.
Okay.
I have last year. And I
We
will continue to
appreciate
do
your
this, okay?
ideas. We appreciate that you support this, and we will do in our best efforts to fulfill.
We
the
have
goals
to
of
take
this
care of
event.
the children in this community and the youth and make sure that they're well educated. Thank you very much. So I'm in for the scholarship funding.
Are we allowed to comment?
If you wish, yes.
Yes, I would like to also thank the ladies for the work that you're doing. And I especially want to say thank you for thinking about next year already, because it is very, very difficult to schedule anything during the legislative session because everybody wants in. And to be honest, I was disappointed last year that there was nothing that was really going on during the day to highlight Las Vegas. It's hard to get space in the Rotunda area. And so I was hoping that we would have had something, and unfortunately, I guess they weren't able to schedule anything at that time. So thank you for looking ahead. We do have to plan ahead, a whole year, because otherwise you're left out.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for that. It appears that it's going to be a very nice evening, and I hope that we do get our legislators going. I remember Las Vegas night when I was in the legislature was something that everybody looked forward to. And everybody was like, come on, hurry up with the committee, let's adjourn so we can go to Las Vegas night. So I'm hoping that we have a really good turnout this year also. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
In response to that, actually, there was a lot going on last year. Senator Pete Campos introduced and recognized in the Senate House, the Las Vegas Legislative Night. He introduced it, he sponsored it, and we had someone actually, their reader, read it into the record. So
I
don't
know
believe you were
that.
present,
I
yeah?
know that, but I was talking specifically about anything in the Rotunda area.
Well, no, we
I knew
couldn't
about
but because of the
Campos.
funding sources, and that is something that I actually raised all the money for. Last year, we didn't have anything in the Rotunda because everything takes money. So I pretty much raised single-handedly all the money for the Las Vegas Legislative Night. That did not come out of the city coffers. So thank you, ladies, again. Thank you very much, and thank you for the presentation, and keep working. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The final presentation, I'd like to call Ms. Maria Gilberry regarding the groundbreaking.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Mayor, councilors, Ms. Bender. We had planned on doing the Bradner groundbreaking this past Thursday? Tuesday, sorry. Marty a little off. And unfortunately with the weather, we didn't want there to be any safety issues, and so we went ahead and postponed it. It looks like January 25th, we will be able to move forward with the groundbreaking. It will be up at the water treatment plant. We would like to have representation from the department heads and some of the managers as well. It is a confined area, so we don't have a lot of room for vehicles. But we are looking forward to having the council and the mayor, the city manager, and some representation from the city, as well as the contractor and the engineer are expected to be there as well. So we can get the story out, let everybody know that we are starting on Bradner.
Okay.
We expect the OSC expects to give us the permit by February 1st.
And only individuals that are employed by the city or the council members can
Correct.
actually go on in city vehicles.
Correct. It is the water treatment plant, so we also have to be very selective about who we can allow on the plant property. It is, again, a safety concern, so I do appreciate the council being able to attend, and I hope to be able to get an email out for the directors so we can have the directors in attendance. And we do plan on, there is parking off the property, just out in front of the property off of 65. The councilors and the mayor would like you to park inside the fence line, and everybody else will park outside the fence line, and we'll shuttle everybody up to where we're going to be doing the groundbreaking.
Are you going to actually pick up the council?
Yes, yes.
And take them in?
We will pick up the council. We can either schedule the pickup off property,
Exactly.
or if anybody does want to drive, we will have enough room for the council to be able to park inside the fence line.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maria. Good job. I know this was postponed, but we're getting there.
We're so
We're all
excited
excited,
to move
absolutely.
forward with the rehabilitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That concludes the city manager's report. Madam Mayor, members of the council, the next,
I'm so sorry. We have Steve and Leslie and Sarah that are the winners of the parade. Do you mind if
No.
sometime, I don't care if now or like right now, they just came in.
okay, sure. There's one presentation that they have.
I'm sorry, we've got our big award winner for the parade, Highlands Record, that just came in. So if you don't mind, if Steve and Leslie and Sarah could please come forward.
Okay, thank you. Please, Steve, stand up.
And Tiara, thank you, I'm
No
sorry.
problem. It's fine.
I just don't want to get into executive session or something. Come on up. Thank you for participating. Just stand over here.
I know it's a little out of order, but
Sorry.
considering the
Sorry,
great float,
Daniel.
we'll go ahead and allow it. Congratulations. What an outstanding float. This year's electric parade was phenomenal. And again, we have to thank, this is the best electric parade I have seen in history. And I have attended every single one of them. This was an incredible parade. I want to thank each and every one of you and everyone who participated, everyone who attended. It was awesome. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for showing up. It's a little late, but for you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. No, don't worry about it. Thank you. Thank you. That concludes our city manager's report. Madam Mayor, members of the council, the next item is the finance report, and we have Ms. Tana Vega for presentation.
Good evening, Ms. Vega. How are you doing? How are
Fine,
you
thank
feeling?
you.
Better?
Oh, 100%.
Good. Good for you. Stay healthy.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I'd like to present the revenue and expenditure reports for the month of December. For page 1, we have the general fund. We've collected 51% of our budgeted revenues and expended 44% of our budgeted, did I say 51% of budgeted revenues, and only expended 44% of our budgeted expenditures. Next, our enterprise funds are all Wastewater is at 50% for revenues, 45% for expenditures. Natural gas is 25% revenues and 29% expenditures and of what was budgeted. Solid waste has received 50% budgeted revenues, expended 45% of budgeted expenditures. And water, we've collected 53% of budgeted revenues and expended only 45% of expenditures. The rec center is doing well in revenues. It's usually struggles, but we've collected 42% of budgeted revenues and expended 44% of expenditures. I'll take any
Questions,
questions.
comments? I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vega, why is it that we are expending more than what's coming in under revenue? And how will we cover it?
In the general fund, we're actually expended $281,922 less than what we brought in revenues.
Okay. Okay, but I'm specifically asking about the natural gas.
Okay, natural gas.
Yeah, if we look to the natural gas, I should have brought my glasses here. We have, I believe you said, what was it, 29%?
Expended.
Versus the 25%?
Okay, in the enterprise funds, revenues are reflected on the accrual basis. That means on billings, not actual cash collected.
Okay.
And expenditures are on the cash basis on what was actually spent that month.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tana. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda items, Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Okay, thank you very much. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Mayor?
Councilor Casey.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda and request that the city clerk read each item into the record proper.
Certainly, Counselor. Consent agenda item 1 is approval of updated DOJ Resolution 1746. Consent agenda item 2, approval of resolution number 18-04 in support of refugee resettlement in the United States and in New Mexico. And item number 3, approval of open meetings resolution 1801.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay.
Roll call.
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Ulibarri Jr.?
Yes.
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Romero. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is councilor's report. Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Okay, Counselor Romero. Counselor Casey.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is our fire chief? Yes, he's still here. At the December meeting, we discussed the RFP and the negotiation process for the ambulance service. And I believe that Chief Montoya had stated that the negotiation process would probably be done by mid-January and that we would be having that item come before the council again this month. I would just like to know what the status, what has happened since last
Mayor,
month.
members of council, Mr. Manager. The contract was submitted to Danielle Smith. She reviewed it. It got submitted to Chris Archuleta, and we're just awaiting response from him.
Okay.
So probably February meeting.
That's fair.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya.
I have nothing else.
Thank you. Counselor Casey. Counselor Howell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you to the first responders, like you had mentioned earlier, Mayor. I think they did a phenomenal job in really managing the situation that was at hand. So thank you so much, Police Department, Fire Department, and Public Works, everyone that was involved. Really appreciate it. The next entity that I want to thank you is Alta Vista Hospital. Between the time of 5:30 to 8:30, I believe, they received 32 patients from this incident. And they had to do a code orange, which meant that every available staff personnel was called in, and the medical personnel. And if you've ever watched ER, the TV series, you'll know that how they worked in that TV series. Well, that's what was happening at Alta Vista. Even the OB doctor had to scrub down and really help out. So it was amazing. And I know that there was one person that was dear to my heart that I knew in that incident, and I hope she gets recovered fast, and hopefully she's doing well right now. But all the others, I really feel for their families and friends. So, but thank you to Alta Vista. Thank you to our first responders. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hall. Councilor Ulibarri?
No comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have need for executive session?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I need a motion for adjournment.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
Counselor Ulibarri Jr.?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Ulibarri Jr. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council.